We're back. We're gonna do this tint thing again. I went and grabbed a Malibu. It's a 2019 Malibu. And for the first time, I'm gonna bring it along with me, and we are just gonna do this this car from start to finish. I'm gonna do all the windows. I'm gonna shrink them on the outside. I wouldn't normally do that, but I know I got a lot of my subscribers that are still trying to learn that process. So I will do that on this vehicle. I'm going to choose to do a dry shrink because I believe that most new guys that are coming into window tinting are probably gonna dry shrink. So I'm going to dry shrink this back glass, and I'm going to shrink the doors on the outside. So that'll give you all the ability to just jump around in the video and grab whatever you need from what we're doing on this vehicle. But I'm actually going to film from beginning to end on this vehicle. All four doors, quarter glasses, and back glass, the whole 9 yards. So stick around, watch, and enjoy. On these cars, I like to grab 20-inch rolls of film and cut the whole sides out at one time. Got that loaded up. So, considering I'm going to dry shrink this back glass, and I know it's dirty, I'm going to go ahead and do a real quick clean on it, so that when I do apply my dry shrink, this is what I use on these, just dryer sheets, so that it gives it time to dry while I do these doors and decide to come back to the back glass. It's all dried up. Now the dryer sheets, you use whatever you want. They're all basically the same, but some brands have more of the dryer sheet chemical in them, I've noticed, than others. But basically, they're all going to be the same, so you really don't have to get that specific when it comes to your dryer sheets. Now, as y'all can tell from the video, I'm a little height deprived, so I use these to get a little bit more reach and coverage, to just get more of the windows squeegeed a little quicker. You long arm guys will be just fine. Long arm guys or girls, whatever. Alright, we've got this clean to where I'm happy with it. So now I'm going to come in, brand new dryer sheet. I highly recommend, if you are just getting into tinting windows, I think the dry shrink method is a good way to do it. Even though the wet shrink gives you that water in there, that little bit of buffer, so you don't overheat the tint. But for some reason, I like dry shrinking. It's just so much quicker, so much easier. You just want to get the best of your ability, get the full coverage on there, no big deal. I came back over here just to get the higher concentrations of water kind of evened out so that they dry up quicker. Depending on the climate where you're at, it may take a little longer, so that's why I went ahead and did this first before I even start on the window. So this dryer sheet material gets to drying up. Run into my machine. Grab me a Malibu patterns. Malibu. Stick it in. Open. give you all the ability to see how I handle and install the little quarter glasses. So let me move y'all up to this glass now, a little closer. Now my window film is being cut as we speak. So now we have a whole side in one foul swoop of this vehicle. I know I've got my little quarter window right here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this sectioned out. We call that weed it out. Weed it from the rest of the material. Right. On these Malibus, like I do in a lot of vehicles, I tend to want to cut this edge, just round this edge up just a little bit more. Like I said, that just keeps it from getting irritated when rolling it up. So, all right. Here we are. So we've got a good clean going on there now. You don't have to get super crazy with the amount of water that you are applying for your shrink job. And again, like I said, mild gap at the bottom. There's not any specific size it needs to be on there to make it right. Just make a gap at the bottom of it so that when you're carting, you know that your tint's not agitated by the bottom of the rubber. So as you can see here, we do have a couple little fingers going to show the level of contour on this particular vehicle, which it's not much. So we got some fingers there. Let's see what their fingers are looking like in this video. Get you a little closer to this. I want y'all to see this so that as if I was wanting to learn this, how I would want to see it. I'm gonna go grab a different card because I always try to tell y'all if y'all are shrinking. So this is the card, these type of cards that I learned on when I was starting to window tint. They always taught us in school and everything to use these white cards. This white card has obviously a different construction, and it slides really, really easy on window film. It doesn't, I mean, you can even, just, it doesn't bite per se. So using a harder card when you're shrinking this is going to decrease your chances of it biting and creasing up your window film. Now, this procedure is going to be a little bit different per se when y'all start doing this, because every different type of window film shrinks differently. And as you can see real quick how quick this Lumar stuff shrinks down, and that's why you always see me talking about it, and that's why I use Lumar, is because it's so easy to work with. And when you're doing quality and volume, you want to do your very best to use a good material, just like anything else. Good material in painting cars, good material in whatever. If you're building houses, use good material. If you're doing window tint, try your very best to use good material. All tint is not created equal. And I'm not saying that Lumar is just the absolute best. It works for me. Now that's just an opinion, but like I said, it just works for me. That's all shrunk down. Let me get you in on this next window here. You hear, guys, and you just tell how this card just glides over. So I know I've done a couple of videos and I've used the gray card, and you can do that. You know, when you get some time under your belt of doing window tint, you know, you will do things a lot different than maybe when you're taught in a tint school or when you first start off. But that just comes with knowing the finesse and knowing what your particular material is going to act like. All right. So those two windows are shrunk. Y'all can tell that. So let's keep this let's keep the juices flowing and keep on with the shrinking. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put you up here, go cut some more film. Another thing I could recommend to y'all guys, if you're new to window tinting, I recommend that you pick up your trash, your leftover tint materials immediately. I never just throw stuff on the floor, because window tint wet is like ice. You're gonna bust your butt on it sooner or later. And here at the dealership, we tend to have people come running through with sold cars, whatever, and they run back here and they kind of don't understand everything what's going on back here. And they'll bust their butt. So pick up your window tint immediately. Throw it in the trash right out the gate. Don't throw it on the floor and come back. You'll find yourself on the floor one day. That stuff is like ice. All right, so we got our two patterns up there. Little gap. Again, taking this squeegee in, and we're taking this tension and we're pushing it down. And when we start pushing it down, we start bringing it up right here in the center. See these fingers grow? Everything I'm explaining to you is completely evident by the reaction of what's going on in this section here. I'm bringing it down. And the more pressure and that you're pushing here, that you're creating tension there, is the more tension you can shrink out, and therefore increasing the percentages or decreasing the percentages of having a finger in the center. So spend a little time here and make sure you get this film pulled down as I'm explaining to you, so that you can get this business here shrunk out, so that when you do install it, you're not fighting fingers. Because fighting fingers is not a fun part of tinting windows. Because if you're fighting fingers, you're increasing your possibilities of a crease. And anybody that knows window tinting a little bit, is every time one of those fingers pop up in a window that you've tinted, it's dragging debris up into your tint. So we're making fingers here. We're making fingers intentionally. All right, that's a pretty finger right there. Let's fix it. And believe it or not, years ago, I would shrink these on the car with a torch also. Going back to my trusty white hard card. And I've got a good about 7-8 inches, and that's going to vary depending on the heat gun that you have, but I'm not right up on it. And everybody knows that the edge of the film here tends to be susceptible to burn easy and curl. So start off further back. Let's go to this front window, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Start off further back until you figure out exactly where your film is starting to shrink at. There we go, nice big finger there. Like I said, it's So we're gonna kick back pretty far. Now I'm about 12 inches away, guys. This heat gun's about 12 inches away. And it's shrinking. It's shrinking slow, but it's shrinking. But when you're learning safety first, start off further back until you can gauge how close you need to get with that particular heat gun that you're choosing to use. She is shrank. Let's back up. Continuing with this shrink theme that we decided to do today. Grab some film for the back window. This particular Malibu, it's a small back glass, so we can put a 30-inch roll on it and it fits nicely. All right, we got some window tint shooting out right now. I'm going to show you how we're going to get this window tint on this window. Now I've got me a little blue towel moistened up. I'm going to let hang out right there. First thing I normally do is I come in and I'll cut this tint, trim this tint right out the top. Any extra, got extra film there that we don't even need. Now, by doing that cut right there, I've just eliminated a reach across the top glass and one cut on the window. I can't express to you guys enough, when you're about to start cutting tint on any window, please snap your blades. Guys, these Olfa blades, they will scratch and mar the glass. So I cannot tell you, until you get to where you're a tint ninja and you know the pressures and you got all that stuff down, just keep, for your sake, for your customer's sake, for your employers, just snap your blades. Very minimal pressure to get a cut. I'm going to come over here. As I've said in my previous videos, there is absolutely no need to pull this film extremely hard. I'm just kind of just letting it relax on there to where it's going to be. I'll pull just a hair of tension on it, tag it right there, because you know what? I want the fingers there. I don't want to pull the fingers out of it and not get an adequate shrink. I don't mind the fingers being in there because I want to shrink them, because I want that installation on the inside as easy as possible. That's the hard part, is once it gets to the inside. And I want it to lay down just as pretty as possible. See what we're looking like in the camera. All right. we need to get a little closer. You know what we're gonna do? Come over here. Ham. All right. I don't like that angle right there. Try to get you up as close as possible to each one of these fingers. Now, as y'all can see, there's a good amount of shrink that needs to get done on this window. Not a lot. Like I said, there's some shrinking needs to be done on there. Now, we're going to get all Michael Jackson up in here. We're going to single glove it. Now I'm going to show you. Let's take a gander at this camera now and see where we're at. So make sure we can. All right, so I'll move it for the top fingers. But I want to show you how easy this film shrinks. Let my heat gun get a little warmed up. With what I know about window tint, I don't even need to card this or rub this film out like that, because I know it's going to lay just fine on the inside. But I'll show you of how much shrink that just did in that just very short amount of shrink time. Look at that, guys. That's the biggest gravy train right there you could ever imagine. So let's pop up to the top. You know, I'm gonna try to move you around. I want y'all to see the size on the top. There we go. You can kind of see how big the fingers are. There we go. That's what I wanted you to see right there. All right. So again, we're gonna start off at the base of these fingers here. And I'm going to shrink this whole top section before I even do a wipe with the glove. See the finger down here? And like I said, I'm confident enough that I can shrink this down and not even do a glove wipe. And that's where good quality, and I don't mean just Lumar, I mean you can get good quality stuff across the board, and your film should react the same way. Look, it's down. That's what it's done up here. It's gonna hold that, and it's gonna allow you to install that film. Look, that is so smooth. Easy, 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 easy. All right, I'm gonna bring you around here again. Now, I will tell you this. The better you do out here, the easier it's going to be on the inside, which is a whole nother art form in itself. Look at that. Just beautiful. And again, I feel confident. I don't even have to touch this or reheat it again. It will stick on the inside and lay out just beautiful. Now, my opinion, and in all honesty, I used 3M material for a while. Let me tell you, no comparison. I don't care what nobody says. The Lumar film is made to shrink so well. You know what? I don't get a darn thing from Lumar for telling you this. I'm just telling you as an installer and what I like to use and what works best for me. The Lumar film has this ability, which I tell people if I'm explaining to them like I'm attempting to explain to y'all. You can chase a finger out. When you're chasing a finger out, you shrink it and you can just run it right on out, where a lot of film just wants to bunch, where the Lumar film won't do that. I mean, they put a lot of R&D into making sure that this is super shrink friendly. Years ago, we used to shrink windows like this, and they would have an issue called ghosting, that you could look through the rear view mirror and you would see every line that you shrank was visible. Well, that was the good old days, obviously. All right, so we are done with our shrinking of the whole vehicle. If you choose to stop the video right now, and that's what you wanted. If not, you can hang in with us a little bit longer, and we're gonna go ahead and start sticking these windows, and I'll do my best to explain while I'm going along what I'm doing. So if you wanna hang out, let's do it. I'm going to go over some removal processes. Now, I have a stool. I'm what would you call, I guess, a stool guy. Been doing this a long time. If you plan on tinting windows for any period of time, work the work. Don't let the work work you. Be smart about what you're doing. If you spend all day standing on concrete, bent over these windows, your back is going to be jacked like my back is jacked. So, it's only been about 5-6 years probably that I've introduced that stool, because I always thought, man, that's a lazy way of doing stuff. No, that's probably a smart way of doing things, to be honest with you. So we're going to start sticking these windows. Let's go over a quick thing real quick before I move you. Now, the reason why I like to do my patterns upside down is for ease of installation. Now, be mindful when you're doing these peels to control your water, like I've told you, on the inside of the vehicle. So let's say you come up here and you get your pattern peeled back, right? And I'm wetting that right there to make sure it's stuck down. All right. One thing I'm going to do is you're going to see I'm going to control the water. So it's fair to say there's potential debris and dirt up here, right? So by no means would you want to wet this down. I am keeping the water, whether it be with a spray bottle or a tank. Keep your water contained. So now I've just wet this down, right? But I do know I'm not going to have any water coming from up here running into my film, because for one, I have a liner up here, and for two, I didn't saturate all this up here. So I have no water to run from up here down into my window film. When people start off, I see them just dousing that stuff. You're just increasing your percentages of something running into your window film. It's not necessary. Different vehicle, same processes as before. When you learn how to tint, it's going to be the same thing. There's just going to be a couple little differences between every vehicle that you do. Some vehicles are going to have For instance, a BMW or Mercedes, it's going to have tighter window tint, or excuse me, tighter rubbers, which you're going to learn, you know, a little bit more of the stuffing technique per se. Let me give you a little hint, a little tip, guys. When you're doing vehicles that have very, very tight rubbers, by just spraying water in there, you're not going to get water into that rubber. So what I recommend is getting one of your cards and kind of coming in, and what it's doing is getting your water in that seal back in here, kind of separating that seal a little bit, if you will. Kind of get in there and you know, basically cause a little bit of separation in this between the glass and your sill. I always do that on the high-end cars per se. So again, let's get this booger cleaned up. Same processes. Get that top of that window exposed. Controlling that water, because in this water that I'm squeegeeing off is the dirt that we want to remove to make sure it's not in our window film. So as I've said before, don't get sloppy with your squeegee and control that water. And when you're controlling that water, you're removing that dirt and knowing where it's going. And as you remember, I've already pulled my liner, so I'm rocking and roll. I'm ready to go. Same thing. I'm going to put my tint on the glass, which is also initially acting like another hand holding my material. I have not touched anything here with my right hand. I'm going to scoot back in. Now I can get the tint to the glass, as I've said before, and now I'm going to line up my pretty little top edge. Whether you hand cut it or machine cut it, get that top edge up there as close as you can without going over. You know, give it a little space, because you got to have a little space here so the tint don't get agitated. Back to the gray card for that pressure I told you I think is needed to get your window film tacked before we decide to go up. All right. I'm confident. Remember, mild pressure pushing out to decrease the amount of pressure that the film and the glass is going to have up against the rubber. You ain't got to be a bodybuilder to, you know, for that little step. Just put a little bit of pressure on it. Control your water. Let that area down. Did you see, guys, where I just stuck that film? I may have been zoomed in too close, but what I did is I rested that liner up on the roof of this vehicle. I can come back and I can throw that in the trash. Didn't need to get up and go throw it in the trash, but also know I'm not going to bust my butt on it if I stand up off of this chair and slip on it. She'd be looking good. All right. Now this particular triangle I have is called a tri-edge. Obviously 3, but it does have a little rubber squeegee right here. I don't really use the whole squeegee that much on there, but I like the stiffness of it because it allows me to jump underneath that rubber easily. All right, that window is done. And as always, don't be a pig pen. Clean up your mess. Everybody appreciates it. Make yourself look like a professional. Alrighty. So, this particular vehicle has a little bitty quarter window. right up in there. Brand new car. Tends not to be that dirty. So what I do, just reach in there, wet it down slightly. Now this is what we call a little mini-me. I don't know why we started calling that 20 years ago, but just a miniature little squeegee. You need a little squeegees to get into these little areas. That's all I do. I don't razor blade it. I generally don't clean it with a scrubby. I'm just telling you all the truth. This is a brand new car. They're really not that dirty. Hasn't been on the road. Hasn't been subject to dirt and stuff running in the vehicle. But I will do like a little mild rinse on it and ready for the tint to be installed on there. And again, even with these little bitty small windows, I don't touch the film. I grab it, I let it rest in my hand, and just finesse it in there. I still don't ever grab it like this, because it's almost guaranteed. Back when I started doing this, I would literally see tinters lick their fingers before they would grab tint. And basically you're licking the dirt off your fingers. So never really wanted to do that. Now, if this was an older car and had been on the road, a couple years old, yeah, I'd probably run a razor blade over this little quarter window real quick. But not on these new cars. All right, quarter glass is done. She's looking pretty. I want to show y'all something on this window because I am 100% not perfect. I don't claim to be, nor will I ever be. Let me open this door up because I want to show you what is something, what I would consider typical trash that you're going to see in a window. Where's it at? And I can't even get it to show up. You can't even see it, guys. I'm so weird about things, but I still want to show y'all the little boo-boos in there that you're gonna, oh, okay, there we go, there we go, there we go. Now I got it. Okay, okay. There is what we call a pull crease, and that's from the tint being, and you can even see right there, there's a couple of little specks. See that little crease right there? I'm trying to block the light so it's a little easier for y'all to see. And this is part of things that, this is another form of learning how to get this stuff out. So I'm gonna take my torch and I'm gonna heat that out, and I wanna show y'all getting it out. Now, when you're doing creases and small trash debris like that, little chiseler. Every single stinking window that's you're gonna tint is gonna have some form of something in it, and that's okay. But what really is gonna make that shine is the time that you put in it after the fact to go in and do crushing. And crushing is basically taking and rubbing your trash that you found and taking out that void that's around it, that's enabling you to see those small little specks. And you could take a window that has 100 pieces of trash in it, and if you spend enough time crushing and getting out that silverness out of it, the average person is never going to notice it, and your window is going to look absolutely beautiful. All right, let's see what that looks like. Still kind of hard to see, I guess. Just kind of hard to show up, guys, and I apologize for that. I'm trying to show y'all because I'm trying to teach you. And there is some dirt and stuff on the glass that's possibly showing up, but show you a different angle and see if we can see that edge and see how either good or bad that edge looks. And I'm trying to show you, I'm trying to teach you. I want you all up in this business, man. Let's come over here because I know, there we go. There's a decent looking pool crease right there. There we go, right there. All right, I'm gonna leave y'all right there. Let's get that out. Now your torch time on there, guys, is going to depend on your material and the type of gas you have in there. Some people use matte gas that burns a little hotter. So as you notice, I'm not jumping on it right away and trying to push it out because I know that that heat needs to make it through the glass. Only takes a couple seconds, so you don't have to rush in there and start pushing on it because you're just going to be fighting it for no darn reason. Let the heat sink through. And I don't know what they call it now, but we've called this crushing forever. Get any debris off of here so you're not confused with what's what. And I'm using this card this way. Pushing it this way. That's it. Picking up something in there that I can't tell what that is. Where is that? Let me see. I got a little doodad in there still that I can't see. What's that look like? All right. Now I'm zoomed in heavy on that, so of course it may potentially be making it look worse than it really is, but I think she looks darn good. All right, let me back you up just to see what we're looking at here. There it is. All right, let's do this front window now. Control that dirt. That little slap I did is called just a little bump. Small little smack like that will get that film moved into position that you want it to. You ever watch any video you see guys just bumping? It's gonna just bump that film where you want it to go. Sometimes you can try to move it and it won't move, so you're gonna have to come in and just a little bump. It'll bump that film right to where you want it to be. Liner on top of the car, or if you want to set it in the seat, it's your business. Like I said, been doing this a long time and had salespeople come back here, and you know I have to constantly warn them, watch out for this and watch out for that. Just be smart, work wisely. You can hear that in that video, that rough sound. It's because I've got this squeegee stashed underneath that rubber so I can get a good squeegee of the water that's even under the rubber to get that stuff to start adhering. Now if you come in here with a squeegee, you're squeegeeing and doing this number right here. I see I did it on accident because it's just a muscle memory. And squeegeeing, and you don't get anything up underneath that rubber, this is going to start drying, and you're going to have a small amount of water hanging out between the film and the glass underneath that rubber. So take a second just to run your card all the way around, front of the window, below the window, and the back side of it. Get that water out of that tint that's back in these rubber that you physically can't see with your eyes, but it's there. And as always, and again, I'm going to bring you around the outside of it because you saw what happened up in here. Let's see what it translated to on the outside. And that's really what makes all the difference. Most customers will come in and they'll see what it looks like on the outside. I'm going to get close up in there and I'm going to show you these edges, and I'm going to show you what I'm attempting to teach you, what your results are going to be. No sense of talking if you can't prove the results. There's the back edge. And I'm gonna do we're at 1x zoom there. And fortunately on this window, I've got no creases in it. I'm seeing something in the camera, but I don't see it in the window tint. There's nothing there. Oh, I do see a little speck there. So let's come down here. See if I can show you. I do have a couple little specks. Man, it's so minute it won't even pick up on the camera. Let's open this door up a little bit and change the angle. I feel strongly this back edge, it's good to go. I don't even need to do anything to it. Now let's look at this front edge. What do we got showing up here? As you can see, I do have a little finger peeking right there. Little bitty finger. See if I can get you in on it. Guys, I'm using a kind of a big stand, so in order to get really close, you know, the stand's got a large base on it, so I can only get so close with the stand. I'm going to attempt to, my camera's sitting too high to see that finger, I think. And that's the thing about window tint. It's, there you go, there you can see it now. See that little peeker right there? There it is. There's that little finger that I was trying to get to show up. It's all about the angle, guys. When I'm teaching people, I will tell them, if you think it's good, look at your window tint in a different angle, and you will find imperfections that you didn't see at a certain angle. So I'm going to crack this door open so I can get to that finger. All right, that's great. It's still showing up right there. Let's fix that little guy. That's it. Doesn't need a lot, especially when you're using one of those torches. One of those tanks, in case you're wondering, one of those tanks will probably last me 2 months. So cost of it is 100% worth it. I think a tank is about $3. Can you see in that video that little finger started to shrink as is because of that heat? So it's not the bulby finger that it looked like previous. So just applying that heat started to get it to run out already. Change the angle again just so you can see what it looks like now. I haven't even, now you know I haven't pushed on it. It's almost completely out already, just from heating it. The heat brought the finger back in. But I'm gonna push it because I know it was there. Go. And as you know, I haven't put any heat on the bottom of the window yet. When I say at the bottom, I mean, let's say this vehicle is going to get delivered to a customer. What I very soon, let's say they're waiting. What I highly recommend is coming in, sun per se. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that are probably sitting over there seeing this torch being used and going, man, you know, kind of cringing over that. This torch is only as bad as you're going to make it. And what I'm saying by that is you got this flame there, and it's hot. There's no doubt about it. So be mindful of your torch. Only going to be as dangerous as you're going to make it. Let's move over to the other side. I'm going to try to keep the talking down to a minimal. I will shoot these windows on very quickly and then get to this back glass that y'all probably want to see more of, the most of, I should say. So, I had a question yesterday regarding, now I'm going to show you and explain to you. I had a guy ask me, he said, do you prefer the razor blade or the scrubby? Well, there are certain applications that each one of those devices that we just spoke about shines. Here's one that you're going to need. You're going to need your razor. Your razor blade. Why? Is because there was a sticker here, a sales sticker, that I want to remove some glue. Now, can you do it with a white scrubby? Sure you can. This is going to be faster. I'm getting off all this residual glue that was on here from this Moroni sticker. So this is where that razor blade, per se, is going to shine. So as I responded to one of you guys yesterday that asked me about that, there's a place for the scrubby and a definite place for the razor blade. This is the application for the razor blade. Show y'all something here. See if I can get in on this edge business we got going here. Lowered my camera. I wanted y'all to see what every customer wants and what you should strive for. By saying that is do the best that you can to try to get like a decent edge on your window tint. Get a good edge on it. And there's the edge I'm speaking of right there. That's machine cut stuff right there. And it is sucked up there pretty decently. during that little squeegeeing process, doing that number right there, I actually bumped it up too high. So I noticed it, and I kicked it right down. You're stuck. See where we're at. All right, guys, I'm digging that angle. Hope y'all are digging the angle. Finesse. Finesse. Couple little simple techniques will just make it just drop right in there. I mean, there's guys that can't tint without taking the whole bottom door panel off. I mean, that is just so time consuming. And I believe with finesse, you can achieve the same results as removing door panels. There's nothing wrong with removing door panels. Keep in mind, guys, if you're going to be that guy that's going to choose to remove that door panel, you're taking responsibility for any potential thing that you goob up, clips that could be broken, so on and so forth. That's why I choose not to do that. Yeah, it's easy. Guys will do a one-shot, meaning you have your door panel off, the rubber's removed, they'll stick it on there, pick it up, and drop it in. And what it does is it alleviates the potential for creasing your sides, which I have that issue right now. I crease the sides, but getting them out is so quick, it's not even worth me taking off door panels for that. Let me move it back real quick. I'm gonna now shoot that little quarter glass on there like we did before. Not always have a towel handy. Each side of the vehicle has a towel handy. Get that cleaned off first. Back with the Mini-Me. All right. Let's gander at that. All right, there we go. There we go, there we go. Let's stick this front door. I'm excited. Let's get to that back window. I'm ready to show y'all some stuff. Let me get you nice and comfy over here. on this window. Guess what we got? Another sticker. As I say, nobody got time for that. It's ugly. That's it, man. If you ain't got time to take that off, go do something else. Your work speaks for what you do. You get these vehicles that got all these stickers on there, the alarm stickers and stuff. They come in here and they got 2 or 3 stickers on the window that they didn't remove, and then they add a window tint sticker on it. Man, you got a dang rolling freaking advertisement board on your driver's window. It looks like hammered dog duty. Just take the freaking sticker off, for the love of Christ already. Don't be lazy. I'm trying to make men out of you folks. It's gonna put out some gnarly window tint. Like that other little shit that I just recently taught how to tint. Do shit right. If you ain't gonna get up and do it right, just sit home and play video games. Coming in, guys. So, making contact in that front edge. I'm sliding her in. Push down and a roll up. Boom. And now I know I need to kick it back that way. No big deal. I got my front edge exposed. Now that tells me I need to go back a little bit forward so I get a complete coverage of my left and right rubbers. I got a sexy top edge. Super sexy top edge. So we are pinned. When I say pinned, got that where I want it to go. This is my insurance right here. This is my little State Farm, my little Geico. This just gives me a little stick so I know it ain't gonna run off on me. As you've seen, I put a little pressure out. I know that this vehicle's tight up in this area right here because I've got this angle, I've got the rubber there, so I push out a little bit right there. So I'm not getting no film bite at the top. Got my triangle ready to go. I'm popping up underneath that rubber. And I'm just letting it fall in. Just letting it fall in. Not even any pressure. I'm just alleviating the tension off the bottom of that rubber so it'll just nice and easily relax right into that little rubber section on the bottom. Did you see that, guys? Just simple. We're not shoving stuff. We're not stuffing. None of that good business. We're just letting it fall right in. Simple, simple, simple. Keep it simple. You could even say keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Here we go. We got another one completed. I'm not going to go over the heating and everything like that because I'm excited to get to this here back glass. back last time, baby. Give you this angle so that I can remove it and you can see the whole 9 yards, basically. All right. So that window hasn't been cleaned on the inside, which I'm about to do. And you're going to see that process. I'm wetting this down. As you know, I didn't just douse it where we got water running down like a waterfall by any means. My bottom of that window tint is now on the top. I'm going to go over something with y'all real quick, which I had to go over with this last student I taught a bunch of times. Now, getting your window tint off the glass is difficult in its own right. So, what I do is I'll pick the bottom of this corner up. Now, mind you, you know that the liner is still on there, but this is just going through the motions. I'll pick the bottom of this film up, and the film is a little stiff right now. And I'll get myself snugged up underneath it to where it's up underneath my neck. I'll reach up underneath it, and I'll fold it together. Now I can enter the car. Now this film is a little stiff, more stiff than it's going to be because there's a liner on it. But like I said, my student that I just recently taught, I went over this process with him probably 100 times just so he could get the idea of removing the film off of the glass. And like I said, a big thing is you can goob this stuff up before you even get it to the window. When I say goob it up, you can put creases in it. You can put stars in it. And I say star, that's when your film bunches over and creates a little star in the window film that you're going to have to get inside. You're going to have to shrink, you're going to have to push it out. So again, when I pick that film up from underneath here, I'm never touching that film like I try to tell y'all. There's no need to put your fingers on film at all. So I'll come in, I'll pop it in half like this, and I'll jump in that vehicle. Just by choice, always get in to the passenger side of the vehicle. Now you notice I've already removed this twice, and I can tell you the film is still good to go. And it's part of the art form of handling window film. So we're going to jump in here now, and we are going to commence to cleaning this bad dude. And I'm going to show that to you too. We are locked out. All right, now I'm going to jump my little self in there. Tools. Big squeegee. Now this is not the same card that I use to clean that back window. I keep a separate one for that. But this is my back. This tool here. It's called a bulldozer. So the bulldozer I used earlier to clean the back window, it's a separate bulldozer. I only use that one for cleaning. This is my installation bulldozer, and I'll show you as I'm installing it what how I use these. And I like to use the big squeegee on these back glasses to get more water off on the inside quicker, per se. Scrubby. Get as far down as you can, bottom of that window. Now I'm going to grab the big squeegee. I'm going to start at the top. And again, can't express to you. Control your water. What I'm doing is I'm starting at the top, wetting it down, flushing left and right, flushing. I'm going to show you the removal off of the glass, which I think is imperative of just getting better and handling the film in itself. And then because I'm doing this by myself, I'll have to get it inside that car when I remove it and then reposition the camera. I think I liked it better up a little higher. There we go. So, as you know, the inside of that window is clean. Don't wet all this business up here. There's no need for it. Because you know what? As soon as I grab this and start flipping around, this water's going to run a different direction. Hang your hose on the door jamb on the inside, because you will need it when you get in there. So here we go with the removal of the window tint off the glass. Again, my hands are underneath it, and I ain't touching nothing. Look how flimsy it is now without having that liner on there. So I'm bringing this in here, and I'm making my profile real narrow so I can make it through that door. And I wish I could grab that camera and spin it around, but my hands are full. We got a full picture here now. All right, let's squeegee this out. if you could see in that video, I kept on getting a pop-up right here. And what it is, on these Malibus, this has an inner trim, and it's sitting plumb on the glass, pushing against that window tint, irritating it, per se. So I had to keep on pushing this out. It wasn't a shrinking deal. It's just the plastic sail panel pushing against the window tint, giving me issues. So I've got a little finger at the top of the glass. I'll bring you around and show you this here finger. You can see it right there. The two little fingers kind of drooping down. See if it shows up better there. Right there. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to jump in there with my heat gun, shrink them so much faster. You'll see them go away. Now that we've got that completed, as I told y'all before, I knew that this right here was agitating the film, so common sense is going to tell me I need to heat that up, because I don't want this vehicle to leave and that thing pop up outside on the lot. So I know it gave me a little bit of trouble before, but again, this is just some insurance to speed up the drying process, specifically in this area, because like I said, that little edge is getting irritated. Nothing wrong with spending a little time on heating up your window tint. Got a little booger right there, a little bubble coming off one of the lines. That's an easy fix. I'm going to fix that right now. Notice it, fix it. And there we go. I'm going to back you out. We have completely tinted this vehicle. Thank you guys for spending this kind of time with me. I really do appreciate y'all. As always, like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. If there's something that you need, something, I really do hope that there was something in this video that somebody saw, maybe put a light bulb in there and said, oh, that's how you do it. The idea of this is just to help you guys out. That's it. So again, like, subscribe, give me your questions. I will do my best to get back and answer them as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day.